The Balls of Chaos can be described as many things, but boring is not one of them. They would start in 2016 with their roster consisting of Clutter, Anarchy, Tumult, and Snarl. And in true Balls of Chaos fashion already, they will be the first team to pick up a disqualification, earning them -3 points in the relay race. They would, however, show some light with a bronze in the 10-meter sprint and a silver in team pursuit. They would finish 8th overall as a result. Not bad for their first year. They would compete in the 2017 qualifiers, where they started decent in the relay race but would score a combined 7 points in the next 3 qualifier events. They will be one of the 4 teams that don't qualify for 2017 and will have to watch from the stands alongside the Cobalts, Snowballs, and Rojo Rollers. They were turning around in 2018 by not only qualifying but winning their respective group. They would start 2018 off strong with a 5th and 2 golds in the first 3 events. They would be in 1st overall before having a 4-event stretch that included 2 15th place finishes that would drop them to 5th. They would get something going with a silver and snowboard cross set by Anarchy before having another few event stretch of bottom half finishes. They would end the year with a bronze and sand mogul race set by Tumult. The team would finish 5th overall and Anarchy would be named Most Valuable Marble. When it comes to 2019, the Balls of Chaos would qualify, but how the year would go for them was rather bad. From events 1 through 14, the Balls of Chaos didn't do anything special and were in 15th with no medals at the time. Fortunately, they showed out in the last 2 events, earning a silver in Collision and a gold in Sand Rally set by Tumult. This would take the team from 15th to 9th overall as a result, which is impressive considering the Balls of Chaos didn't do anything for the first 14 events. For the first season of Marbula 1, the Balls of Chaos would send in Clutter and Anarchy. Clutter may have scored points in half of their races, but they were both top 5 finishes and one of them was a win at Momotowe. They would finish 9th in the individual standings, while Anarchy, on the other hand, pretty much wasted their time, finishing 26th overall individual standings, scoring 11 points with their best finish being at Rasway. Their other finishes consisted of 10th, 15th, and 15th. The Balls of Chaos as a team would place 9th overall. They'll be off to a decent start with 3 top 5 finishes, including a silver and long jump set by Anarchy. This would put the team into 5th overall after the first 5 events, but they would slowly fall down the order the rest of their way, including a streak of 6 straight events where they finished in the bottom 4. And although Tumult would finish 6th in Marble Marathon, the Balls of Chaos would finish 15th overall to end the year, and with 1 silver. This won't be the last time the Balls of Chaos have only 1 silver in their year. Season 2 of Marbula 1 would come up and Anarchy would be replaced by Tumult. For Tumult, they did pretty decent, securing 3 finishes that were 8th or above, including a bronze at a raceway. But when they didn't finish top 8, they would DNQ. One of their 3 DNQs being at Tumult Turnpike. Kind of ironic. As for Clutter, they would kick their season off with DNQ before having finishes of 12th and 10th, but would pick things up with a silver at Momotowe. And for Misty Mountain, Clutter would not only have a moment with the safety marble, but they would also share a moment with the Bumblebees. That would lead to Clutter and Bumble getting removed from the race. Clutter would finish 24th, while Tumult would finish 17th, and the Balls of Chaos as a duo would finish 11th. They also competed in the Marble League Winter Special, but they did nothing and finished 14th that year. The 2021 qualifiers would come up for the Balls of Chaos, and it was really bad for them. Although they had a decent finish in the 5-meter relay, their other finishes were pretty bad. 9th in Funnel Endurance, last in Swing Wave, and last in Sand Rally. They would miss out on the Marble League for the 2nd time and would have to compete in their first showdown. They would start off decent, however, with 2 5th-place finishes and a silver in the 5-meter relay. However, due to a last place finish in block pushing, below average finishes in triathlon and diving, and Anarchy getting set up by a random starting order, the Balls of Chaos would go from 3rd to 10th overall. They would finish in the bottom 4, but thankfully there's no relegation so they can compete in the 2022 qualifiers. But before that, let's talk about Marble Maniacs, a tournament hosted by the Balls of Chaos themselves. In terms of how they did, it was a wreckage. No podium finishes, 3 of their 5 finishes being in last place, last overall by a mile. For a tournament that's about chaos, they for sure lived up to that. Then would come Marbula 1 Season 3, where the Balls of Chaos actually looked good. Clutter would kick their first half of the season off with 3 podiums, and one of them would be a win at Misty Mountain. Talk about redemption. Their second half, however, would consist of 2 11ths and a 9th place finish, but they still did pretty good and finished 6th overall in the individual standings. Sumo, on the other hand, would have a rough first half, their best finish being in 11th, and they will also secure a 15th and a 17th in the first half. They would at least spark a light in the second half with a bronze at Stardust Accelerator. They would finish 24th in the individual standings, and the Balls of Chaos as a duo would finish 4th overall. The 2022 Marble League would come up, and the Balls of Chaos would barely, and I mean barely, qualify by the means of tiebreaker over the Indigo Stars. Disarray and Snarl would kick the year off with a silver in climbing. But there was multiple problems with this. 1, that would be their only medal of the season. 2, that would be the only time where they scored double digits, as their next best finish was an 8th in Swing Wave and Water Race. They would have 13 finishes in the bottom half, 10 of those finishes being in the bottom 4, 7 of them being in the bottom 2, and 4 of them being in dead last. As for how they would end their season, I'll let Clutter describe that.
Help, they need to finish first or second to have a fighting opportunity to get the win. As we see, the Pinkies have finished first here, so they guarantee that they are moving on. This is very close to the end there. Crazy Cat's Eyes came across last, but I think we've got a marble. Yeah, Balls of Chaos, they're stuck up there. Oh, wow, Balls of Chaos, ugh. They have broken the lowest point record in the Marble League, set by the Oceanics.
That's the Balls of Chaos way, breaking the Oceanics anti-record with 64 points, with a silver medal, by the way. Now this is what we call historical, and leave it to the Balls of Chaos to be that team. They would try to run it back in Marbula 1 Season 4, and this is Clutter's first race of the season.
Will win the opening Grand Prix and their first ever Marbula 1 race. Speedy gets second place, Momo holds third, and Clutter suddenly remembers to finish this race. There we go.
The rest of the season wasn't too special for the Balls of Chaos. They obtained no medals all season, and their best placement was a 4th at Electron Expressway by Clutter. Tumo's best placement, however, was a decent 7th at Stardust Accelerator. Clutter and Sumo were placed 27th and 29th respectively, while both scored 25 points each. The Balls of Chaos as a team would finish 14th. Let's move on to 2023, where hopefully they don't get outscored by Mallard this time. They would give it a go in the 2023 qualifiers, and despite placing top half in 3 of the 4 qualifying events, the Balls of Chaos would miss out by 1 point over Mel Yellow. As for how the showdown would go that year for them, it was rather mixed results. They started off decent with a top half finish in Team Pursuit and a bronze in the relay, but would come crashing down with back-to-back last place finishes and funnels set by Snarl and the team falling apart in Swing Wave. But Anarchy would pick things up with a bronze in Sand Rally, and Clutter would do decent with a 7th place finish in Honeydome. Balls of Chaos would finish 9th that year. We're going to move past the Christmas race for 2023 and the Marble Maniacs Grand Prix, since Disarray and Tumult showed up for none of them. The first season of Marble Survivor would come up, and the Balls of Chaos would send in Clutter as a representative. And although they did pretty decent in the first 2 weeks, they struggled in the 3rd week and were eliminated, placing 27th overall. And to add salt to the wound, they would lose out to Pinky Panther by 1 point. Marbula 1 Season 5 come up, and the Balls of Chaos would replace Clutter and Tumult and would bring in Anarchy and Disarray. Harmony. Why? As for how Anarchy and Disarray would do, it would be a season to remember for them, but for all the wrong reasons. No podium finishes, no top 5 finishes, no finishes where they score at least double digits. Only 2 top half finishes in 10 races. 5 finishes where they don't even score, 2 of those being in dead last. Anarchy and Disarray would finish 33rd and 34th respectively, while the Balls of Chaos as a team would score only 24 points and finish in dead last overall. Prior to the 2024 qualifiers, the Balls of Chaos would make a change by firing Harmony and bringing in Yuan Rong. That coaching change would show some light as the Balls of Chaos not only qualified for 2024, but they would podium in 3 of the 4 qualifying events, and they would do the best out of any team in qualifiers. As for the podiums in the main league, that did not come. They went 15 events without a podium, but they weren't entirely bad as they only had 2 bottom 4 finishes. They would show some signs of light with Tumult getting 4th in skiing rally and the team doing pretty solid in curling, but they would also show some darkness with a last place showing in ski jump and Disadvantage Snarl struggling in mountain climbing. They would end the season, however, with Tumult getting a silver in Ice Maze elimination race. The Balls of Chaos would finish 10th overall with 1 silver. This is the 3rd league where they finished with only 1 silver. Marble League All-Stars is coming up, and they will be one of the 16 teams invited. As for how they will perform, they would kick it off with back-to-back last place finishes in bobsled, where they DNF'd on all 3 of their attempts, and short track, where Clutter just completely folded. They would maintain their one and only podium with a silver in Ice Dash set by Tumult, their captain. After that, the Balls of Chaos went nowhere in All-Stars, and they would finish dead last once again. Marble Survival Season 2 would come up, and the Balls of Chaos would send in Tumult, who was giving all of their efforts to put Balls of Chaos on the map. And they would do that, for all the wrong reasons. Getting eliminated in the first race, placing last overall. That's the Balls of Chaos way. When it comes to the Balls of Chaos, they truly live up to their name. Despite being around since 2016, the Balls of Chaos have not placed on an overall podium in anything. Marble League, Marbula 1, Showdown, all-season tournaments, Marble Maniacs, you name it. No overall podium. Truly special. They have placed last 4 times in 4 separate tournaments. It takes talent to do something like that. A Frenzied factory in their own right. Let's see what chaos they cause in 2025. But until then, peace out.